Welcome to Now Hear This. I'm your host, Chris Spangle. Now Hear This is a conversation with leaders in Indianapolis that are working to improve the lives of Hoosiers. Our goal is to empower you to join in their work and make a difference while informing you about the unseen aspects of life in Indiana. If you miss an episode, you can listen via podcast at nowhearthisindy.com. You can also find contact information there if you have an organization that you work with that you would like to have come on the program. My guests today are Nancy Bonfield, the Regional Director for the 24 Foundation, and Tom Gospel, who is a national board member. He's actually the national board chair, correct?
No, I'm the chair of our local board of managers, and I'm a member on the board nationally.
Because there is one in Charlotte and one here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So,
hi, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us here on Now Hear This. If you want any more information on the 24 Foundation, please call 317-939-3267 or go to www.24foundation.org. So let's talk about the 24 Foundation. What is the 24 Foundation, Nancy?
Sure. So thank you so much for having us on here. 24 Foundation is a local nonprofit here in Indianapolis that is making an impact for local cancer survivors through survivorship programs and navigation.
What does that entail, Tom?
The work entails obviously getting the word out, but what we do with navigation and survivorship is one of the things that I've asked many friends, and I've had a lot of friends over the years who have been diagnosed with cancer, is do they have a nurse navigator? And a nurse navigator absolutely takes care of all of your burdens that you don't have to think about. So you can just focus on what kind of chemo or what kind of treatment that I have. That nurse navigator basically lines up all of your doctors, all of your appointments for you so you can focus on yourself.
With the nurse navigator and filling some of these holes, is there a gap in that diagnosis that people are just finding, like, I don't really know what I'm doing? Are you there to kind of help people figure out, don't do this, or what is that function that nurse navigator plays for people who've just been diagnosed? I
truly think when you're diagnosed, from the friends that I've had, is the last thing they want to be able to understand or figure out is, what do I do next? They're having a hard enough time pronouncing what they might have. The nurse navigator is your advocate. They've got your back all the way through the entire diagnosis, treatment, recovery. In fact, I had one of my friends, she had her doctor changed practices right in the middle of her treatment, and we were talking about it one day, and she said, I just don't know what to do. I said, call Michelle. She's your nurse navigator. And she went, oh my gosh. Michelle had it all unraveled and resolved within about 20 minutes from that phone call.
Right, because they speak the language that happens in the industry, I would imagine.
They know how to navigate through those rough waters. They know how to navigate through the system, including all the insurance.
Right. So what are some of the roadblocks that people might run into, or what are some of the things that a nurse navigator usually runs into that a patient might experience that they help with?
Absolutely. And sometimes people don't know that is a service that a hospital may provide. So you need to ask, as a survivor, as a patient going through treatment, if that is a resource to you. But I think many of the roadblocks are initially just not knowing, like Tom mentioned, is not knowing. It's the unknown of just grasping the fact that you have a diagnosis. It's really hard to hear what the doctor's saying, let alone understand it. And so that a nurse navigator really can help guide the family and the individual through that process.
So if I may ask, what are your personal connections to this organization? Why did you get involved in the organization or this line of work? Let's start with Nancy.
Sure. So I have been in the nonprofit world, and I feel like knowing that it is local, immediate impact is so powerful. Mm-hmm. If there is not that, it's really hard to do the work I do. So I'm really proud of the work that 24 Foundation does and 24 Indianapolis here locally, because I know that I can put my head down on the pillow knowing that we are helping people right here, right now, which makes me really proud. And I think that is very powerful in the work that we're doing and the people that are involved. Just knowing that we have that immediate impact locally is so important.
Right. Why is it personal for you?
Well, my dad died of cancer, and my cousin is a 20-year breast cancer survivor. So when this opportunity came up, because of, to Nancy's point, the local impact and the immediacy of the impact, where you can network and grow this and see the benefits that are being reaped by those cancer patients and their caregivers, it was kind of a no-brainer. I started as a participant 8 years ago and worked my way. Just it was a labor of love. Became the team captain, and then became a corporate captain. Then became part of the board of management, the local volunteer management team in Indy. Now I head that up, and then subsequently became one of the members of the national board.
Yeah, and this is not your full-time job. You're effectively a volunteer as a board member, correct?
That is correct. I work over at Delta Faucet, and I'm happy to say that we now have a growing team of 31 people as of yesterday.
Great. Congratulations. Before we talk about the teams and a little bit about the past of the organization and the future, I want to go back to the experience of cancer, because I personally have not had a family member diagnosed with it that's close to me. I don't quite understand what it's like. I mean, John Andretti just passed away recently of colon cancer and was a huge advocate for getting checked for that. Rush Limbaugh was just diagnosed. And when you hear somebody like that get diagnosed with advanced cancer, you think the worst. I mean, your mind goes to the worst if you're not really educated about it, I imagine. For those of us who don't really have an understanding of what it's like to be diagnosed with cancer and what trials lay ahead, can you kind of lay that out? Let's start with Tom Gospel. It's affected you personally. Mm-hmm. What might someone see if they're caring for a loved one of cancer?
Well, the tough part for me, first and foremost, is I really didn't know that my dad had cancer. I was in college, and my parents kept me in the dark. They didn't want it to affect my school life. So I'm still, 30-plus years later, I'm still learning about things about my dad's cancer, which that's a little disappointing and frustrating, and I try to use that to give back to other folks. I have a very dear friend in a Bible study that I'm part of, and she told her husband first, and then she told us, because she wanted to use us as a safe zone, because she didn't know how people would react. Would they shun her, or would they pity her? And she didn't want that. She wanted some empathy. And I was able to use the experiences that I've had here and I've learned here with 24 Foundation to maybe offer some advice in confidence and keep it a safe zone.
So what is some of that advice? What if somebody's listening and has a friend or a loved one, what is some advice that you give to them?
It depends on the individual, but they don't want pity. So it's how do they navigate that response when somebody sees them? She had, like many women, she had chemotherapy and she lost all of her hair, and she started wearing a hat because she was very self-conscious. I talked within 24 hours, and I asked her about why didn't she get a wig. She bought a wig that she wasn't happy with. And within 24 hours, I talked to Nancy, who talked to one of our beneficiaries, Pink Ribbon, and Dory from Pink Ribbon called my friend, and she had a wig that she was very pleased with within 24 hours, and she could stand up straight and tall and be very conscious about, or have self-conscious pride in herself.
Nancy, what would you say to someone that doesn't know a lot about cancer that you'd like them to understand about the process of fighting cancer?
Sure. So, obviously, upon diagnosis, you are considered a survivor. You are surviving and pushing every single day to survive and thrive. And it is a process for sure. And that is where our mission of navigation and survivorship starts from that very first day. And the navigation process of, helping someone understand the process and helping them understand that it isn't often a death sentence, although, yes, some may lose their battle, but it is a process of survival from the start. And so many more are surviving and thriving these days, that these resources and these types of organizations such as us as 24 Foundation are so important because more people are surviving and thriving. And so we're really happy to be able to offer those kind of resources and that funding toward those things that people can have that immediate impact right here through their survival.
You're listening to Now Hear This. We're talking to the 24 Foundation. My guests are Nancy Bonfield, the Regional Director for 24 Foundation here in Indiana, and Tom Gospel, a National Board Member for the Foundation. If you want any more information on the 24 Foundation, please call 317-939-3267 or go to www.24foundation.org. Let's talk a little bit about what the Foundation does. How did the Foundation actually get started? When did the organization start?
Sure. So we started 19 years ago, actually, in Charlotte, North Carolina. Fast forward several years after that, and we came to Indianapolis because our founder actually had a connection here to Indy, had a cycling community, and that's where we kind of started in that cycling mode of an event that had cycling in it. Mm-hmm. We are here for our 9th year, but it is way more than just an event. It is about a year-round nonprofit that is making an impact here from January to January. Yeah. And I'm really proud that that's happened in the last 3 years, because initially we really just came for an event and then we left and then came back again the next year. So there really wasn't that personal touch. So we just really have a great community here of supporters, of teams, of businesses that really have rallied behind our mission. And I'm really proud to be a part of it. So that's kind of where we came from and where we are right now.
Tom, is the focus of the organization to help with fundraising in these kind of events, like cycling events, like breakfasts, or some of the other events that you put on?
It's certainly to do fundraising, but as almost as important is to raise the awareness of cancer navigation, those nurse navigators that are your advocates, and also survivorship. A lot of times when I've seen many friends get through with their treatment, many people think that they've checked the box. No, they've got to go through the whole survivorship program because they have to get their life back.
Right.
So we're really focusing on that awareness of what it takes to get your life back, both with the survivor and their caregiver, emotionally, nutritionally, mentally, physically. There's a long road to hoe for those folks to get back to where they wanted to be before they got diagnosed.
Right. So talk a little bit about some of the fundraising efforts that you do. What are some events that you put on, Nancy?
Sure. So our largest signature event is our June event. It's the last weekend in June, June 26th and 27th. It is a 24-hour event, but that does not mean that you have to be there the whole time. It doesn't mean you have to ride a bike or walk for 24 hours. You can truly walk a mile or sit the whole time and celebrate survivorship or honor those that we've lost. So it is at every level. But that is our signature event that we're really proud of, that we've grown. Tom is a numbers guy. So Tom can kind of share about how much we've grown.
How does it work? So if, for those who don't understand what the signature event is, it's a cycling event?
It is a riding and striding event.
Okay.
It started with riding with cyclists, all caliber of cyclists, but now we add walkers or runners. And it's a $50 registration that pays for all of the food, and you're going to love the amount of food that you get. And then we ask that you have a minimum donation of $200. Now, we get donations from any and everywhere, including corporate matching. As an example, last year with Delta Faucet, we had a team of 43, and we raised $24,000. So it averaged about $600 a person. So it's really not that hard to do that kind of fundraising. It's amazing how generous people are with just a simple ask. So $50 registration, $200 minimum as far as fundraising. You come to the event at 7 p.m. It starts with a survivor lap, both for the striders and the riders. And then, to Nancy's point, you can ride a single lap, you can walk a single mile, you can sit and enjoy, or you can actually talk to some of the cancer survivors who are giving back.
And so if I want to put a team together, how does that work?
Simple. Call Nancy.
So Nancy, I call you. What do I do?
Sure. I'd say, you know what? We have a very easy to use website, and you can start a team as easy as that. www.2424foundation.org. untangle.org.
Okay.
But basically, you can choose to start a team of walkers and riders all together and have people register and join you in this mission and come and participate, hang out. We have camping. We have massage tents. We have lots of food, as Tom mentioned.
There's a ton of food. They will feed you well. You have to carb load it.
Yeah.
If you want to do that many miles.
Exactly. We have a kids zone. We also have a kids ride for littles that does not require registration. They come out and we celebrate them. And it starts with little. It starts with kids that are little, teaching them to give back.
Sure.
That is how it works. We also have our local grantees and beneficiaries present, so they are there sharing their stories of all of the impact that they're having from the funding that we give them and from our supporters, because that is how it works. 24 Foundation raises money to provide local grants to local organizations that are impacting Indianapolis and Hoosiers to make an impact with cancer survivors and their families. And it's really a festival of hope and healing.
As far as teams go, I am now a member of Team Delta. But when I was between jobs, I formed my own team because it's more fun with people,
Right.
With networking. So truly, if anybody wants to join, I've still got Team Acme.
That anyone can join.
Because I'm a Wile E. Coyote fan. And, excuse me, you can sign up on Team Acme. My team captain is Alex, and we have a growing team of 11 already.
Yeah.
Do you want to give out an email address that people, or a phone number even?
I can connect them too.
All
I can
right,
still
okay.
connect them. Yep. The good news about being local and the significant impact of local, I probably know all of our teams personally. They all have my personal cell phone. This has become personal to me. It really goes beyond a job.
So if you want to get a hold of Nancy, I would imagine you call number 317-939-3267.
Yes.
Again, that is 317-939-3267 or the 24foundation.org and ask for Team Acme. Now, so once you join the team, is the word spread through social media? Maybe make some posters that you put up at work, trying to help get donations. What would my responsibilities be once I join a team?
Yes, you want to raise the $200 minimum. We have all sorts of flyers that 24 Foundation can provide. I'm also, as a staunch advocate, if you see me in the hallway, I will normally pair people up. If they're not a rider or a strider, they usually become a contributor of someone who is.
Right.
And we have with Masco, our corporate headquarters, they are extremely generous in matching dollar for dollar any Masco employee's contribution. So there's really easy ways to donate and to hit your minimums.
I'm hearing a lot of companies. I mean, for a company, it's probably good for an entire organization to get involved. I mean, what sort of incentive is there for a company-wide effort to be put together, Nancy?
Sure. I want to kind of piggyback off of the team aspect of the fact that we, as a committee and a board, have really thought hard on, we want to break that barrier of the fundraising piece. So we have developed some ways that teams can come together and do team fundraisers that we really prepare for you, and you show up and you participate. So those are pretty powerful, that we enable our teams to have an impact and to kind of guide them through that fundraising piece to make it less invasive and more fun together. So that's a different avenue that some nonprofits don't offer that, and we feel like that helps us with the barrier. To answer your question on the corporations, it really is powerful for just the camaraderie of corporate individuals to come together and do something bigger than themselves. And, it may not be right for all, but it's right for some. And so it's an opportunity for companies to offer this to their employees as an opportunity to come together, team build. I really call it almost a corporate retreat without the bill for the corporation. It is an opportunity for a corporation to come together, have a team tent. They're hanging out, they're interacting with not only themselves, but also other companies. And you're socializing and networking and meeting people from other companies and relationship building on a time frame of 24 hours for something way bigger than the company.
Sure.
And so it is just so powerful to see the difference between Delta Faucet starting with 2 people on their team 4 years ago now, and coming up, their goal is 60 riders or walkers. That's huge.
Yeah.
And that is significant growth because people came. Initially, our 2 people that started the Delta Faucet team were very disappointed, like, oh my gosh, how on earth did we not have a big team? Well, guess what? The next year it tripled. The next year
I think it went to about
12
25 or 26, and then last year it went to 43.
Wow.
Right. So it is momentum and sharing, and no team is too small. If the mission is important to you, if you've been affected by cancer, then you need to be a part of this. It is that simple. It is that simple.
And if you're maybe looking for something a little less, could companies sponsor or could an individual volunteer? I'm sure you need a lot of volunteers to hand out all this food at
Sure.
events like this.
Yes, so we always need volunteers, always. And then we also have opportunities for individuals and companies to sponsor, from every level to sponsoring a team where all that supports is a team tent and funding for that. We have our community sponsors, that's $500 level, that has a presence on a community sponsor or community supporter banner. And then we also have many other levels that give you a little bit more exposure and participation within the event. Delta Faucet is one of our amazing $10,000 sponsors this year. And, that also encompassed some registrations for them so they can get more people involved. So there is every level of participation from our community supporter all the way up. And, it's a fit for any company, small or large.
Great.
One thing I talk to folks about, I've talked to folks about is if you don't want to have a team or you're not sure you want to have a team, you could sponsor a team, because one thing that there's a $1,500 corporate sponsorship that, by the way, all the sponsorships get you corporate recognition on the T-shirts, on the banners, etc. But the $1,500 threshold also gets that team a tent, a 10 by 10 tent. So now that's someplace that they can all meet and hang out together.
With your company banner on
With
it.
your company banner. It's a really nice, easy marriage that you could sponsor a team like that.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And if you want to get involved, again, their website is 24foundation.org. The number's 24. Or you can call Nancy personally and ask for, I imagine you ask for Nancy. It's probably not your personal cell. 317.
Comes to my personal cell. It's all good.
Right. Well, 317-939-3267. Just call her if you're interested in this. Don't send her memes or anything.
Please don't. Well, only if,
And she will call you back. If you have any interest in 24, she will call you back.
You better believe it.
You're listening to Now Hear This. I'm your host, Chris Spangle. We're talking to the 24 Foundation, Nancy Bonfield, the Regional Director of Indiana, and Tom Gospel, who is a national board member. If you missed any portion of this program, you can go listen via podcast at nowhearthisindy.com. It's not just this signature event. You do other events. You're branching out. Like you said, you used to do this one event. Now you want to do more events. What are some other projects that you're working on, Nancy?
You want to talk about 24 on the Monon?
Sure.
So 24 on the Monon was an idea that I borrowed. We had a team who worked with Bricks down at in Broad Ripple.
Yeah, the ice cream place.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
to have a give back day. We took that to the extreme, and there are currently 31 different venues on the Monon, restaurants, that we've been contacting to pair them up with a team as a give back night. And we'll call it 24 on the Monon. And I think we have the date. I think it's June 2nd, I believe. But anyway, we'll have it at one time, all the teams with their corresponding restaurateur doing a give back night. So it's an easy way for teams to be able to help volunteer, drive traffic into those establishments, and the establishments have an easy give back.
And it's a fundraising opportunity for teams.
Great.
Yeah.
What are some other things that you're working on?
So another one is it's called Rock the Block. It's on the South Side. They are an event that allows nonprofits to partner with them and raise money for their organizations. So the great thing about Rock the Block is it's a 5K, 10K, and a kids run. And what that looks like is 24 Foundation has a team, and then all of our teams have a drop down where they can fundraise for their personal teams. So it is a way and a vehicle for teams to raise money for their teams and not have that barrier. And it's a fun time for way more people than maybe even knew about us. So it's really a great way to educate people about 24 Foundation, educate about our mission. I'm planning on getting a bullhorn. I know I probably won't need it, but I'm really excited about that opportunity. I'm going to have an orange bullhorn to talk to our team because I probably won't know all of them because they're going to be made up of a lot of different teams.
That's great.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
First stop bullhorn, next stop T-shirt cannon.
Yeah.
If you want to find out
Sounds
more
good.
about these events, go to 24foundation.org. Finally, before we enter the home stretch here, quickly, once all this money is raised, what are some organizations that you then help fund?
Yes, thank you for mentioning that because that really, truly is our immediate local impact here. So our main beneficiary is Franciscan Health and Cancer Center, and what they provide and what that money provides is assistance with a program called Moving Beyond, and it is exactly that. It is moving beyond for cancer survivors and their families to go through classes to learn next steps. What does next steps look like? Anything from nutrition to exercise to intimacy to shopping, just what is different after cancer. And this is so powerful in the fact of our mission is about survivorship and navigation, and this is the navigation to thriving. And so it is just very exciting to be partnered with them in that program. When we kind of collaborated, they were close to not being able to fund that program. And so through the funding of 24 Foundation, that has assisted in the funding of it now completely and growing it and offering it more. So that is wonderful. And to be able to know that we have that impact. The other really cool thing about that is anyone, no matter where you've been treated, no matter when you've been treated, no matter what kind of cancer, can be going to that. It does not matter if you were treated in Ontario 10 years ago. If this is important to you and your caregiver and you need to utilize this, then this is a resource that you can use. So that's another thing. Please reach out to me. We want to get these resources out into the community and educate the great things going on. So that's one of the great programs. The other program that I would love to mention is called Casting for Recovery. It is a local fly fishing organization. You say fly fishing? Well, that's very interesting, Nancy. It is because, for breast cancer survivors, that movement of fly fishing is recovery. And not only that, you're out into nature and it's healing. It is definitely healing. The partnership that we have with Casting for Recovery is amazing. The women within Casting for Recovery and the men that volunteer with them are such big heart. It's just an amazing organization. But they really give back by retreats. And through our funding, they've been able to add a metastatic retreat.
And I imagine we're short on time, but I would just imagine that being in a retreat for a period of time with people who have your specific same challenge, that sense of belonging has to be incredibly important to
Absolutely.
them.
So that is a definite program that has impacted so many lives in regards to that in our community.
I wish we had more time. I have like 100 more questions that I want to ask you, so we're definitely going to have you back. But Tom Gospel of the 24 Foundation, Nancy Bonfield, its regional director in Indiana, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Chris,
you.
It's been our pleasure. Thank you very much.
And Chris, I look forward to seeing you either join a team or get the T-shirt thing going.
Absolutely. Let's do
Team
it.
Acme is waiting for your call.
All right. Thanks for listening to Now Hear This. I am your host, Chris Spangle. If you missed any portion of our program, you can listen on our website, nowhearthisindy.com. If you'd like to have your organization featured on the show, please contact Gabby at 317-475-7407 or via the contact page on our website. Thanks for listening, and we will be back again next week with Now Hear This. Our goal at The Chris Spangle Show is to help you sound smarter while talking with your friends. If you struggle to understand politics, we explain it from an independent, libertarian perspective with all of the irreverence modern politics deserves. We toss out the screaming heads and put people before political parties and give context to the news to make you think. I'm the host. I'm a 15-year veteran of politics and media, and this show is published every Saturday. It's part of the We Are Libertarians network, and be sure to join Wall Plus for bonus podcasts, the complete archives, commercial-free shows, and more. Subscribe now at WeareLibertarians.com.